Mr. Bodie's not coming?
We'll call the special meeting of the Newham Economic Development Authority for Monday, January 30th, 2017 at 8 a.m. to order. First item on the agenda is a roll call. We do have a quorum, so we'll go on to item number 2, which is consider a motion approving $50,000 loan from the Commercial Property Loan Program to RE Group LLC. Heather? Or Dave got something on that one? Okay.
Dave Schnumberg, Community Development Director, and I've been responsible with others for the administration of this program since 2011. The program has been in existence since 1986. It's changed during that time period. One of the most recent changes took place this past June and July, when the maximum loan amount was increased from $25,000 to $50,000. There was a requirement, though, or condition, that if someone took out a loan in excess of $25,000, that loan need to be approved by the Economic Development Authority at a meeting. And so this is the second request that we've received for a loan that exceeded that amount. So the loan has been submitted by Eric Bodie, who serves as the manager for the RE Group LLC. The subject property is located at 518 Center Street. That property is also referred to as a Thrifty White building and was previously owned by Retzloff's Hardware. The project involves the purchase and renovation of the building. The total renovation cost is estimated at $597,240. The EDA's portion of the loan would be used to finance the installation of a new roof. The estimated cost for the new roof is just in excess of $50,000. An estimate that has been signed by the applicant is in the agenda packet. I should also note that there are other activities taking place as part of this project that would also qualify for EDA loan assistance. So if for some reason the roof only costs $40,000, there'll be other items that are also eligible. United Prairie Bank is financing the project. The total amount being financed is $701,000. Robinson Appraisal and Associates has provided market values for the project. There's an as-is value, which was effective as of October 19th, 2016, and that was $290,000. And then there is an as-proposed value following completion of the improvements, and that value is $935,000. According to the appraisal, there should be sufficient property equity to secure the EDA's loan. You'll note the proposed value, the United Prairie Bank loan, and then the remaining equity. There is no other mortgages or indebtedness against the property. The city attorney recommended the following. That we should execute a promissory note and mortgage, which is a standard requirement of any loan that we make. And then secondly, that we secure a personal guarantee from Eric Bodie. This would be a 10-year loan at a 2% interest rate. The current balance in the EDA loan account is $344,481. So obviously we have sufficient resources to make this loan. In the agenda packet, you'll find the application, the project quote, and then information from the Brown County Assessor's Department on the property. Unfortunately, Mr. Bodie could not be here this morning. He had another matter to attend to.
I have a
Go
couple
ahead.
of questions, Mr.
Go
Chair. Explain to me a little bit about what the personal guarantee, is that just a written note, or is that something more formal?
It's a little more formal than that, and it's just that he pledges his assets
Okay.
to pay off the loan if for some reason there's a
But it's all done in writing and signed and
yeah,
notarized.
yeah. yeah.
Second question is, tell me about how the repayment on this loan works. I forgot.
Well, it's a 10-year term, so it's a monthly repayment, and we do it by ACH, and
Okay.
the money comes in to our finance office, and
Just split up
we-
into 10 years of payments?
yeah.
Okay, a monthly.
And that's our standard, that's the payback period that we've used for all of our loans.
Okay, I wasn't sure on that. Thank you. And the city's is recommending approval of this?
You know, the only question that I personally have has to do with the value that that they came up with, but I'm not an appraiser, and so
You didn't have the opportunity to review the appraisal?
I looked at the appraisal. I've
okay.
got a digital copy.
Okay. Is the personal guarantee then secured or unsecured by Mr. Bodie? You had mentioned assets, so I didn't know if that's a standard practice, that the guarantee be pledged with assets or
It's not a
security.
standard practice of the program. It's something that the city attorney recommended that we do, and I would follow whatever recommendations the city attorney made
Okay.
with regards to the form of that document.
There's
and
no,
what it
there's no
covers.
specified collateral that he's pledging. It's just.
Relative to the
his
guarantee, so
signature.
it's virtually unsecured, okay. As far as dispersing the $50,000, will that money go directly to Laraway Roofing, or do we disperse it right to the partnership and rely upon them to pay the bill for the roofing when it comes in?
See, the money is dispersed to the bank,
Okay,
and so the bank then, the invoices come in to it, and it cuts checks.
so the bank has discretion on where the money's spent then? Because you had mentioned if, for instance, the roofing bill came in less, they could theoretically use it for other expenses relating to the project?
Right. We request copies of invoices that they receive that, for eligible loan items so that we have those in our file.
Sure. With the past program with the $25,000, would we secure mortgages on those normally, or?
Yes, we would.
Okay. In this case, the work has already begun. I mean, if you go there today, it's boarded up, there's dumpsters. So our position would be with the $50,000 mortgage behind any potential mechanics liens that would be filed if, for non-payment?
What I've been told is that at the present time, United Prairie Bank has not finalized the loan, and that Mr. Bodie is paying for it himself, and that once or if they secure your approval of our contribution, that they then will close the loan.
Okay, so that, my concern here would be that our mortgage would be in peril behind potential contractors or suppliers who could potentially place a lien on the property. I would suggest, or whatever, that perhaps the attorney review like lien waivers as disbursements are made, and they should be provided by the bank, just to make sure that our lien position is protected.
Dave, follow up back to these personal guarantees. I am a little bit confused. It lists Eric Bodie as manager. It speaks of investors. The prudent, typically anybody with a 20% ownership interest in this entity would personally guarantee it. So do we know who owns it, and is it 100% Eric, or is it others? And I would like to see our personal guarantees and documentation mirror that of United Prairie Bank in regard to personal guarantees. If someone has a 50% ownership in this entity, they should be guaranteeing it. But we know none of that through this application.
No, we don't know who makes up the ownership group. This is really the only.
That's a reasonable request.
That's, our first loan prior to this, I believe, was an individual. And so this is a different animal in regard to an LLC. Who is a borrower, who makes it up, and who owns it, and so, like I say, that would be the prudent on our part to have whoever is benefiting from this guarantee it. And typically, it would be someone with more than a 20% ownership interest in it. It could be anybody with any ownership interest in it, but that would be, wouldn't you agree,
Easily,
Dan?
seek multiple guarantees, I would think, depending
Typically, it'd
on.
be with someone with over 20% interest in it.
Right, and I think that, getting back to our mortgage, we may have to rely more heavily on the personal guarantees if there's issues that arise from our mortgage position. And if the work is started, there's, in statute, it puts contractors and suppliers in a superior lien position than somebody holding a mortgage. So we would have to go into that knowing that that's potentially a problem. So I think it puts more emphasis on the personal guarantees as a means to possibly securing this loan.
Yeah, this is only the, I think, third loan where we've been involved with personal guarantees.
Anybody else have anything?
I told Dave earlier, I'm not used to being an economic development lending role versus commercial banking lending, but some sort of projection. This is basically, we're basing on collateral. We're saying there's collateral here, but some sort of projection, what that might be, probably would make sense for us to see as far as projected inflows and outflows, and they have the ability to service this debt.
I agree, and I think too, if you look at the appraisal, and I think you would express some reservations about the value. Normally in a commercial property, a lot of the value is arrived at its income producing potential. So you have to look at it in terms of, are they being realistic in terms of rates of vacancy, rents, and that sort of thing. And it would be wise to look into that maybe a little further, again, because we're assuming that collateral position or that value is there, but we just don't know, not having actually seen the appraisal itself, what kind of assumptions they made about the condition of the property and how and when it's going to start producing income and how much income. And that normally on commercial appraisals becomes a huge factor in terms of determining final valuation.
David, would it be fair to say that as far as the EDA has been concerned in the past, that we've relied upon the banking entity to perform all the background analysis, and that we've really been a lender of last resort, and we rely heavily upon the lending institution to do that analysis for us, just because we don't historically have staff that's been working in the mortgage industry. So we usually kind of work it through the bank. If the bank is saying this is acceptable and according to their terms, we really don't dig too far into it. We just go, all right. So yeah, that might help. I don't know.
Right,
help
I mean,
or confuse things, but the fact is we don't really get into the nitty gritty. If we're the lender, but we utilize the bank's knowledge, skills, and abilities to do the analysis. That fair?
right.
That is
I mean, I
correct.
would agree that United Prairie Bank is willing to put out a $701,000 loan. They have faith in this deal. And so I guess this is just new as far as coming to the board as far as projects over 25,000, and we are doubling our exposure as far as our risk at the $50,000 level. So
Do you have any additional recommendations or conditions that we have, here?
I guess just what I initially stated, I think it would be prudent to get personal guarantees from any owner with over a 20% stake in this entity.
And I would add just simply that lien waivers be provided to the city attorney once they've been collected by United Prairie Bank, which would be the lead bank. Again, just to reassure our lien position is protected.
So with those two additional conditions, I'll offer a motion to approve the $50,000 loan from the Commercial Property Loan Program to the RE Group LLC. So with that, of the two conditions that my two gentlemen on either side stated, plus the two conditions listed on our recommendation, which is a promissory note and mortgage and personal guarantee from Eric Bodie.
I'll second that.
It's a long motion, sorry about that.
We got a motion and a second. Any more discussion on it? Seeing none? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. No more misses. Meeting adjourned.
Good to have you guys on board here.
Yeah.